When I started DJing a little over 10 years ago, I distinctly remember picking up my first pair of powered PA speakers, and in a word, they were not that great. The design was very dated, they weren't that powerful, and when you did crank them up, they distorted a lot. Now it's 2022 and manufacturers have started to offer a lot more value in their budget speaker ranges. Today, I'm gonna take a look at this guy right here. This is the new Mackie Thrash 215, and it's a 15-inch powered PA speaker that I think offers a ton of value for those that are just getting into DJing, doing their first garage band, or just need a PA speaker to do public address, school programs, plays, assemblies, things like that. This is a great affordable option for those that are looking to dip their toes in the PA speaker market. Now, my name is Jordan. This is the Phase Reviews YouTube channel. If you're new here, thank you for joining me. And if you're a subscriber, as always, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm gonna give you a full overview of this guy, talk about the specs, show you what comes in the box, tell you about my experience using it over the past couple of weeks, and let you know what applications I think it's best suited for. And because so many of you ask, I'll even give you a little bit of a sound demo. Now, before we dive into that, if you're not already, consider becoming a subscriber. I would love to have you around for future tech videos, specifically DJ products. Leave a comment if you've heard the Mackie Thrash 215 or there's another budget speaker that you like, and maybe we can get it on the channel in the future. But enough of that, let's dive into taking a look at the Mackie Thrash 215. So first things first on this channel, and with this speaker in particular, you'll notice I have it set up behind me, and that's because it's too big to have right next to me. This is a big 15-inch speaker, usually the largest you're gonna get in a powered top, unless you go for the dual 15s, which is not very common for the starter DJ. But we do have a relatively large speaker here, and while I normally do an unboxing, it would be a little unwieldy. There's not much that comes in the box, but I did want to show you the packaging itself, which I have right here. And you can see at the top, maybe you can see, it says, "Are you metal enough?" And a little farther down the box, it claims that this is a speaker for hard-hitting bands. 1,300 watts, they loudly proclaim on here. And you know, this is a speaker that is marketed for those that are looking for power and output. Now, again, this is a budget speaker. It's in the $300 to $400 range, okay, depending on where you look. And so how much power can you get for your money? That's what we're gonna go over today. So this is the box that it comes in, very well packaged, has styrofoam top and bottom. The other things that come in the box, you're gonna get your power cord, standard IEC power cord here like you'll get with most powered speakers. I think this is probably 5 feet long, okay? So that's not too shabby, good thick cable, and then you get your manual right here, and that's all, okay? This is a no-frills speaker. They actually have that on the box as well. Mackie has tried to strip down their popular budget speakers and just offer a simple, easy-to-use options for those that are looking for the most affordable PA speaker on the market, okay? So I'm gonna set this stuff off to the side. I'm gonna overlay a few B-roll shots and just talk about the construction of this. This is a plastic cabinet, and it's pretty lightweight for a 15-inch speaker, coming in at 40 pounds. Now, the plastic construction has pros and cons. It's more lightweight, it's easier to transport, and this one in particular is very scratch resistant. I've had other budget PA speakers in the past that if you even breathed on them, they got smudges and scratches. This coating is very hard. I ran my nails all up and down it just to kind of test it, and it looks great. So unless you're hitting this with like a sharp object, you're not gonna have any issues with scratching. Now, one of the other things that I think is really cool about this speaker, let me just turn it around here and you'll see it on the video, is that it's got 4 handles built in. And I think that is a huge plus. Some speakers just have handles on the side. I've even seen some PA speakers from some big brands that only have a single handle on the side, which is super awkward. And it has handles on the top and the bottom. And with a big 15-inch speaker like this, that makes putting it up on the stand a lot easier. Even though it's only 40 pounds, having 4 handles makes handling this guy a lot easier. At the bottom of the speaker, below the lower handle, which are accented in green, kind of unique, it definitely stands out. You'll know this is your speaker, and you can't see the green from the front. So you can use these in a more professional setting, even like a wedding or a corporate event. You're not gonna see the green from the front, so you don't have to worry about that. It's a little bit of pop, but it's out of sight when you need it to be. Now, Below the bottom handle, like I was saying, there is a tightening screw. So if you put this on a speaker stand, you can tighten it so there's less wobble and it's not gonna turn on you. Really nice to see that. Didn't have that on my first set of speakers, but you can grab it on these Thrash 215. The only other thing that I want to highlight on the construction is that there are little feet, little wedge feet there. They're not rubberized, they're just plastic, but they're dedicated so that you can mount this guy, or rather set it on the ground, point it up at your performers to use as a wedge monitor. So if you want to use it in that application instead of a main PA system, you can do that as well. Let me flip this guy back around here. Inside of the speaker, that's all the outside. Now inside, you've got a 1300 watt power amplifier. It's a single amp for both the woofer and the tweeter. That's just kind of one of the sacrifices you make with a budget speaker. And watts, I've said it a million times, do not mean output. So the spec we care about is the dB max SPL, which in this speaker is 126. Not the most you're gonna see in a powered 15-inch top, but everything is relative to price. 126 decibels, especially if you have a pair of these, is gonna be more than enough. I think you could rock a 100-person party, no sweat with these, with a few caveats, which we'll get to in just a moment. Now, the woofer is 15 inches, hence the Thrash 215, and the top driver is a 1-inch compression driver. Again, a smaller compression driver than maybe some other models, but factor in the price, okay? Now, the frequency response, okay? How low does the speaker dig? This has a frequency response of 52 hertz to 20,000 kilohertz on the top end, and it's the low end that we care about. 52 hertz, surprisingly, is not as low as I thought a 15-inch speaker would go. Usually with a 15, if you're gonna buy this bigger, bulkier speaker, you want it to go deep enough that you theoretically should not have to use a sub. And I would say with this speaker, that's not the case. It's gonna want to be paired with a sub, most likely to get that deep low end. 52 hertz is not even the lowest string on a bass guitar. So unfortunately, it just doesn't dig quite deep enough for me to use these by themselves. Now, with that being said, again, compare this to other speakers on the market and you're gonna find similar results. So that's just kind of one of the things that you have to give up when you prioritize cost, okay? Now, around the back, like I mentioned before, they're marketing the Thrash 215 as a no-frills speaker, and this has two XLR 1/4-inch combo inputs and a single mix output. Each of the inputs has their own dedicated volume knob as well as a master volume, and that's it. There is a status light on the back to tell you when the speaker is on and if you're clipping, but other than that, there's no fancy LCD display or digital menu. There's no crossovers or switches to worry about. This is the most simple and easiest to operate speaker that I've ever seen, okay? And that's probably good for the beginner. You don't need to worry about cardioid modes and when to cross over your speakers and, what position it's in. If you are a new DJ or just, garage band looking to get started, don't worry about all that stuff. Plug in and play. Just the fact that you have a PA system is gonna be great. And when you're ready to upgrade to the bigger guns, you can do that pretty easily, okay? So 2 combo ins, 1 mix output that will send the signal to another speaker or to a subwoofer if you need, okay? So I'm gonna play you sound demos in a bit, but I just wanna do some comparisons first. The first thing I wanna do is compare this to other 15-inch powered PA speakers in the price category, that being the $300 to $400 category. This has a bigger amp. I haven't seen 1300 watts anywhere else. And while watts aren't everything, having more watts to spare is never a bad thing. The enclosure is very attractive. It's very modern looking. Some of the budget offerings still have a little bit of a kind of curved, outdated look that really doesn't, fit into more classy events. From the front, when you can't see those green handles, this speaker looks just like any other, high-end powered DJ speaker. So I like the looks of it. And while it only goes down to 52 hertz on the low end, that's actually deeper than some other comparably priced 15-inch tops, okay? So like I said, you have to give some things up, and when you put it relative to other options on the market, it still comes out pretty okay. But I think Mackie's biggest competition with this guy is actually their own speaker, the Thump 15-inch, okay? The Thump has been beloved by mobile entertainers for a long time. The Thump is a great speaker, and for only $50 more, I believe, you get a few other features that are really great. You get a bi-amp design, so a separate amp for the woofer and the tweeter. You get a 1.4-inch compression driver, so a little bit bigger, 1 decibel more of output, which isn't a ton, and most importantly, the Thump digs down to 32 hertz, which is a huge difference over the 52 that you get in the Thrash, okay? So if you have the extra, go for the Thump, but if you don't, if you were like me, first time DJing, you're on your minimum wage high school job, or you're just not sure if you want to do the DJ thing, but you want to try out a few parties for your friends, the Thrash can save you a little bit of money per speaker. And if you want simplicity and just want to get rocking as cheaply as possible, then it's a great option. This is not a bad speaker by any means. I have heard other speakers that cost this much that did not sound near as good or have near as much volume as the Thrash 215. So put it all into perspective. That's all I ask. Now, honestly, if I had to pick, I would probably go for the 12-inch model and pair it with a subwoofer. You're gonna get better low-end output any day by using a dedicated sub and crossing over the tops, but that's a topic for another video. Now, let me throw in some sound test footage. Now, bear in mind that I don't usually like doing this because by the time it comes through my recording device, which in this case is a Tascam recorder, and then gets into my software, is edited, compressed, outputted, uploaded to YouTube, compressed again, and then comes out of your speakers or headphones. It's not how the speaker truly sounds, but hopefully you can at least get an idea for the frequency range and hear that it sounds great, that there's no big deficits in the audio quality. The mids are there, the highs are there, and the mid lows are there. You don't get big sub bass. You're not going to hear those lowest resonating tones in the hip hop or the EDM, but for rock, for rocking out, for hitting hard metal, like the speaker is kind of advertising on the box, this is gonna be great. A bass drum is gonna sound fine on this. Bass guitar, probably okay, augment with its amp. But I like these guys. And the output is great for the price. Like I said, you could do a good small, medium-sized crowd with these without having to worry about any distortion. But enough of that, let's dive in to the audio test. All right, so we're gonna play some songs from the YouTube audio library. Right now, I'm just gonna be quiet so you can hear the baseline white noise level. It's not terrible. If you're in any sort of loud space, you're not really gonna hear this, but this is kind of the noise floor level right now. So let's play a bit of music from different genres. We'll start with some acoustic. Okay, so that is a look at the Mackie Thrash 215. I've talked about the pros, I've talked about the cons. All in all, if you're looking to buy a pair of 15-inch speakers, you're looking to spend between $300 and $400, maybe at the low end of that spectrum, I think the Thrash 215 is a good option. If you're someone that doesn't want to deal with a million features, Bluetooth connectivity, all these kind of add-ins that have kind of become the standard over the years, then just go for the Thrash. Pull it out of the box, plug it in, it's gonna work. It's got that Mackie quality behind it. If you wanna grab one or two for yourself, I'll include a link down below. You can go ahead, buy through there, support the channel, and hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and leave a comment. Have you heard the Mackie Thrash 215? Do you want to? What was your first pair of DJ or band speakers? I wanna know. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.